Knitting techniques. How to knit the Russian bind-off. To download a guide with our 5 favorite tips to improve your knitting right now, visit newstitchaday.com/5knittips. For this tutorial, you'll need the following materials: a pair of knitting needles, and a ball of yarn. Special thanks to our sponsor Lion Brand for providing today's yarn. Today we are using their Lion's Pride Woolspun, available exclusively at Michael's Craft Stores and lionbrand.com, in the color Taupe. The Russian bind-off is a way of finishing your work by securing the stitches at the end of your fabric so that they won't unravel. And the difference between this bind-off and other bind-offs is that it's basically a more efficient method of creating a traditional knit bind-off where you would slip a stitch, knit a stitch, pass a stitch over. This sort of gets rid of a couple of those steps so you can do it much quicker. I've also found that this edge is a little bit more loose, so if you're someone who has trouble with your stitches on the bind-off edge being really tight, then this would be a good option for you. So let me show you how we do this. Step 1, we are going to knit the first stitch on our main needle like normal. Now for step 2, we are going to place this stitch back onto our main needle. And for step 3, we are going to insert the needle, our working needle, into that stitch purlwise. For step 4, we're going to insert this tip of our working needle into the second stitch on our main needle knitwise. Okay, so you're going to come around the other side and into it. So we've got sort of this like X thing going on our needles. For step 5, we are going to bring the yarn over our needle and we will draw the yarn through both stitches at once. And for step 6, we will transfer both stitches over onto the working needle. So let's do that for you again. We're going to repeat steps 2 through 6. So we're going to slip this stitch back onto the main needle, insert our working needle purlwise and then knitwise, knit those 2 stitches as if they were one stitch, and then transfer the stitches over. Alright, let's do that again. Place the stitch onto our main needle, come in purlwise, then knitwise, yarn over and draw through, and transfer over. Now, as you become more proficient at this bind-off, you actually don't need to do a couple of these steps. You can place the needle onto, or place the stitch onto the needle. You don't even have to remove your working needle, and you can come through knitwise into that second stitch and then just work those 2 together. So I'll do that part for you. Again, if you're going to just place the stitch onto the main needle and then come around into that second stitch knitwise and knit those 2 together. Okay? And I usually try and straighten out these bound off stitches as I go along. Alright, so again, you'll just continue working these steps all the way across until you've bound off all of your stitches, and then you can break your yarn and weave in the ends. And that's how you knit the Russian bind-off.
Hey! I'm Johnny Vasquez, founder of New Stitch a Day and your teacher for this tutorial. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to learn from us. If you'd like to see more videos just like this, we produce new content every single day, hence New Stitch a Day. You can click the subscribe button so that you don't miss a single stitch. And if you click one of the links to the side here, you can see the previous stitch in our series or the next stitch in our series. And if you click this link, you'll be able to see one of my favorites. And don't forget, you can also download a PDF with the written instructions for this tutorial by clicking or using the URL link that's on the screen. Again, I want to thank you so much for learning with us, and I hope that we've helped make your knitting and crochet skills a little bit better today. Yarn on!